It's lights out and away we go!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the GT UK F1 podcast. I'm joined by David.
Hey, how's it going?
So, just a quick reminder, you can get where you get your podcast from. Obviously, Amazon, Spotify, Samsung Podcasts, RSS.com, and unfortunately, not Apple at the moment, as you know.
And YouTube, of course.
Yes. So, Temple of Speed that was Monza.
Yeah, Monza, Shane Allen isn't here to join us for this. I know he's a big fan, but unfortunately he's still sorting himself out.
Don't know if you saw anything of the other, I don't know if you watched, Ted's qualifying notebook and everything like that.
No, I didn't catch any of those.
Oh, just wait till later. I'm going to rip on some chronic.
God.
Kimmy was there. King Kimmy was there with his family.
Fair enough.
And it was just nice. Just to see Kimmy. It seems weird because I'm going to have to refer to the other one as Antonelli rather than just Kimmy.
Because with that use is referring to Raikkonen as just Kimmy.
Yeah. So, this may be a little bit of a short one, but obviously...
That's what she said.
Obviously none of us caught practice 1, 2, or 3. Apart from I saw a clip of obviously the Thursday of the safety car getting binned by Bert, which is to me a bit of a shock, but
Yeah, it's not the first time it's happened, so
no, but you got to think the track was resurfaced as well.
yeah.
And then obviously I saw the clip of Antonelli lasting about 12 minutes before he bins it on the same corner, Parabolica.
Well, apparently that's all you have to do to get a drive with Merck these days, is 12 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, like we say, it was like me and you just said before we started, it was in George's car. Now, I saw the video reaction of Toto when he hit. It was a bit of and the words were fuck. They were, because I could lip read what he'd said, and George was just like, oh, fucking hell. And I don't think they realised that the cameras were on them. And it was just like, George was a bit like, oh, shit. My car.
Well, they got him back together in time to get him out, so...
Yeah, and then obviously...
No big problem.
And then obviously we had the threat of rain. I can't remember if it did. Anyways. Qualifying. I shall let you lead.
But you don't manage to see much of it.
Oh, I did. But I want you to lead. In case you've got anything interesting to bring up.
Well, kind of. But really, we could see a return to form a little bit of Perez again. At least he wasn't out in Q1 for once. Other than that, it was...
Did Perez go in Q2 or did he? No, he got Q3 for
way.
once. Oh, okay.
All the way. I mean, the Saubers, we seem to have had the Alpines are definitely back running a bit better again. I mean, the only real surprise, I guess, in Q1 was really Stroll.
Yeah, not a shame.
Well, as I said, surprise, not shame.
Yeah,
it's... But, both Hasses made it out to Q1.
I mean, I expected honestly, I mean, I expected Carlo Pinto not to just do anything stupid.
Carlo Pinto was kind of unlucky, wasn't he? Because his last lap, he did a proper good save.
But it was nearly a tank slapper. Yeah,
well, Sainz had done it earlier on in the section and did the same thing, ended up off. Yeah. But yeah, Carlo Pinto managed to keep it out the wall, but sadly ruined in his last lap because I mean the guy had pace. Let's be honest here.
From looking at from looking at practice sessions, the first practice session he was 17th. Okay, and Albon was 8th.
First time he's driven the car
Yeah.
properly. Second session, 17th again.
Yeah. And
So
Albon's
Albon's 13th.
13th. And
Final
FP3
session,
9th.
9th. So Albon's 8th.
8th. Yeah. So he has.
You know, as we've said before, though, you don't take practice as a.
No, I know you don't. But what I'm saying is, it showed the improvement throughout.
Oh yeah, because I was actually talking about that in November. What are the rules on? Because allowed to drive, is it a 2-year-old car or is it last year's car?
2.
I thought it had to be 2-year-old just to make sure it wasn't.
Yeah. Every testing session, even for like Antonelli and the Merc, was done in a 2-year-old car.
Apart from the one he did at the race this weekend, obviously.
Yes, apart from the one he did.
I thought it was 2 years old.
Yeah.
Just to make sure it wasn't. Which I disagree with that personally. I think it should be set times when you guys are allowed to drive the upgrade cars, because that's how you get them up to speed.
Yeah, but I think the reason why the
top teams using it as like free testing time.
Well, yeah, apart from that, it's to stop mileage.
Yeah, but that's
it's
to me,
also
as long as you made it level for every team.
Yeah, but you've also got to think, if one of them during testing bins it, that then puts them down on their parts for the rest of the season.
But one of them binning in any practice session does the exact same thing.
Well, we know that.
I get what you're saying. I don't disagree with you, but I just think that's the problem that you guys have, that they come into the sport like Calapinto has.
Yeah.
And they've not actually been able to drive the update car that often, and to me there should be more opportunity.
Mm.
Now, I get what you're saying, but I think as long as you made it level for every team, that extra mileage thing to me is a non-point.
Well, that's up to the FIA to allow.
And we know the FIA and Logic don't exactly go hand in hand a lot of the time.
Especially this fucking weekend. I'll get onto that. We'll get onto that. Because I have I have an update to one of my things I will discuss.
God.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is, where the fuck were Red Bull this weekend?
I think we're just.
Is it this bullshit that's going around, this conspiracy theory of these fucking caked in brake ducts bollocks thing that I have no idea what the hell they're called? Because I was listening to Ted, but then just like thought, well, what? I
think we've seen a combination of things. Said before, we're at the very end of a update cycle.
Yeah.
So for that reason, you've got Red Bull caught a march when this run started. Basically, they just got it right, which fair play to them. Here we are 2 years on, everyone else is caught up.
Well, everybody else was caught up, but then they were on about, this whole brake ban thing. This, the conspiracy theory was that. The other conspiracy theory is the fact that when Newey left, everything went to shit.
No, that was the end of the season when, I think I shared the PlayStation.
No, but he's left. Technically, he has left. He's not allowed within certain meetings now where it comes to, like the designs, the upgrades, the stuff like that, the technical side.
Yeah, but still...
He's there to develop the road car.
Don't forget, though, they're still driving a Newey car right now.
Oh, yeah. But
he doesn't leave and take the car with him.
No, but, you know what I mean? Things have just seemed to have gone downhill since he said he was leaving. I mean, that's the theory I like the most, and I'll stick to that one, but just something didn't seem right, because they were both struggling. The car just was... Usually, that car's quite comfortable at Monza. It just wasn't.
I just think we're at the point where the season's closed up. It's just literally everything's just closed right up, which is not a bad thing.
No. I mean, I don't know if you heard Hamilton. Now, I don't usually listen to the after chat reactions after qualifying of drivers in the pen.
No, I didn't.
Hamilton was not happy. He was furious. with himself. And he uttered the lines, maybe they will have better luck with Kimmy.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. Now, is that Lewis giving up? And I mean, this was brought up as well by Ted to Fred Vasseur when he was speaking with Fred at some point. You know, and even Ted said to Fred, Jesus fucking Christ, try and saying that one 5 times fast.
Ted to Fred, Ted to Fred, Ted to Fred, Ted to Fred, Ted to Fred.
You know what I mean?
What's so bad about that?
And Fred turned round and said that, no, that's just him basically not being happy with his performance. That's all that is. He's not reading anything into it. But for him to say that, it was like, in the eyes of certain fans, will be like, well, oh, okay, maybe he's giving up.
Well,
but to be honest,
we're already going to be at the point where I'm assuming he's now in the same. He's not in certain meetings and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, he isn't.
So if that's the case, then yeah, of course he's probably not going to be as 100% involved. Because would you be at that point?
No.
You'd be thinking about. I mean, let's be honest. And this weekend is showing him that maybe he's making the right move.
Well,
because no, I would have loved to have put money on this result.
Well, Sainz is the same as well, won't he? Sainz will be out of most of the meetings and all that lot.
Oh, yeah, Conor Moore summed that up best. I know how bad it'll feel to drive a car that cannot compete. Isn't that right, Charles? What?
And yeah, I mean, you know, yet again, Haas looked like they were on it in qualifying. Aston Martin, where the hell has their pace gone?
They're just not having a good season, are they? Maybe once they've got Newey involved, things will improve.
And that's the other rumour.
And I'm just stoking that fire because I think
know
brilliant.
You are stoking that fire. I mean, fair play. If Aston Martin get him, they get him. You know what I mean? There's no... I'm not going to be pissed. Yeah. I'm not going to be pissed at it. It's just going to be like, well, yeah.
Well, Daddy buys him a designer.
Yes, but to see Aston Martin on top, especially if it was Alonso, not Stroll, Alonso on top of the championship again, I'd be happy with that.
Could you imagine, right? Just want to see how good will next season be if they get it sorted out. We've got McLaren back at the top. We've got Red Bull there. We've got Ferrari there. We've got Merc there. And we have like a 6-way fight for the title.
It's going to be an ultimate clusterfuck, is that? It's going to be
what I mean?
Brilliant.
How good will that be?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's just, yeah, I mean, I knew Albon was going to outdrive that car. Not outdrive it, but perform well in that car. Because you know the Williams, when it's on straights, is just a fucking missile.
That's always been its strong suit and its straight lines.
Yeah, but even, you know, James Vowles said that, you know, they weren't expecting Carlo Pinto to get, you know, to...
It was his first race. His job is simple. Bring it home. Yeah,
exactly. And all, you know, James...
That's his entire job. When it's your first race, nobody's... they're not expecting miracles, are you? You know, you're not going to go and win it in your own race.
Well, no, they're not expecting a Behrman to... Well, I mean, fucking hell. Ollie Behrman. Jeddah.
Yeah, but a bit of a difference in the car he was in.
Yeah, but he came home with points. You know, they weren't probably expecting that from him. But he managed to bring it home with points.
Yeah, that's... The car did a lot of that.
Oh, yeah. Although, I mean, I can't rule out Ollie Behrman because he is a good driver.
And if rumours are to be believed, he will be at the next race.
We'll come on to that.
Anyway, back to qualifying as we have, as usual, rambled off in a random direction.
Yeah, but I can't say one of the Mercs because both of the Mercs were looking good at one point. But then just Q3 just seemed to fall away for Hamilton, unlike George. I mean, George, yeah, he is outperforming Hamilton massively. George's team leader, but
I think Georgie's now at a point where he's got to take a claim money because obviously he doesn't want Antonelli to come in and just take over.
Yeah, exactly. But I did notice something interesting between Antonelli and George. The contracts aren't multi-year. Their contracts are a year.
Right, okay, so Merck obviously, whether Merck are keeping options open.
Well, whether it's to believed or not, the whole Max Verstappen at Merck. Toto's been stoking a little bit of fire again by saying, even during the press conference, Antonelli was sat next to him, George was sat next to him, and he still said, yes, they are still looking at Max. Whether that was to destabilize Red Bull, or whether he's generally serious about that.
Well, I go back to what I'm sure I've said it before, though, every single team, if the chance to sign Max Verstappen got offered,
Would try.
you're going to take it.
Yeah.
So he's on every team's radar, because you would. It's like what I said when the Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari thing. From Ferrari's point of view, it was a bit. The only problem Ferrari had was the fact they just signed Leclerc. Because to me, the take Hamilton deal was a no-brainer. He just had to be.
I still would have put Sainz over Leclerc, but
I've told you, if they hadn't just and so signed Leclerc to that multi-year deal, with probably a really fat buyout fee involved,
yeah,
I reckon they would have done. But there was probably a several £1 million break of contract deal.
Yeah. And, you know, obviously the McLarens were on form, as we expected. Now, obviously, you know, the starting grid was, I mean, if we want to, is there anything else you want to add about qualifying before we
Not really, no, like I said,
move it?
It's a bit Noah's Ark, wasn't it?
2 by 1 by 2, yeah.
By 1 by 2.
By 1 by 2.
But no, it was, as we kind of half expected. I mean, for Hulkenberg to get 10th, fair play.
Yeah. I mean,
that has some speed when it needs it.
And that's the thing. Even though Hulkenberg's going to Sauber, Audi, whatever. We'll just call it Sauber for now. He's still performing that. He's still outperforming that car. He's still driving that car like a man possessed at times. Actually, or is that K-Mag that's driving it possessed and then doing it stupid for stupid shit?
Well, true. Don't know what you're talking about.
And there's a point I'll bring up about Hulkenberg in a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, we got, then if you talk about Aston's pace, but to be fair, was 11th for Alonso, so it wasn't too bad.
No, but yeah,
K-Mag 13th.
Yeah, but like RB just didn't have it either. I mean, okay, I Danny out qualified Yuki, but yeah, that seems to be a real weird season.
We've got to be one of the best seasons we've had in. I think we've said something similar to these last
2 years.
But this one more so. I mean, but as I've said a couple of times, go back to the beginning of this sort of year, and we're worried about Max walking away and winning every single race.
Yep.
Well, that certainly hasn't happened.
No. So, on to the race.
On to the race.
On to the start. George got away well. the McLarens got away.
All
well,
right.
Ish.
I think Norris still needs to do some work on stars.
we
It's
know
still
that.
one of his weaker points.
So it just that must have been gutting for the fact that, you know, down to first corner, George gets fucking God knows what.
Very nearly wipes Norris out.
It wasn't Norris, was it? Was it Oscar?
Was it Oscar who was
It
behind?
was Oscar. Yeah, nearly wipes Oscar out, goes down the escape road, buggers his front wing up.
And loses a hole.
Detective Perez on the case. Fucking Perez was pushing for a penalty. You could see it.
Yeah.
I mean, fair play, but yeah, it was an interesting start.
I tell you what, though, I think I've said it before. I was thinking Piastri's got no bloody fear, has he?
Oof. No shit, goes round bloody Curva Grande, straight down into the second chicane.
Round the outside of his own teammate.
Yeah.
That one could have ended so badly in so many different ways.
And who was behind at the time? Was it Leclerc or was it Sainz?
It was Leclerc, because that's how Leclerc got himself in between them.
It was Leclerc. I bet Norris was a bit pissed. But it was Papaya rules. They allowed them to race. If they were gonna do the team orders, it would have been done from fucking first corner.
Yeah.
They allowed them to race. Oscar saw the opportunity and fucking took it.
I think Oscar, I still honestly believe that Oscar still wants a legit win.
He does want a legit win.
And I think he saw his opportunity there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in being maybe a little bit hasty, didn't do the team any favours, like I said, because that's what let Leclerc through. Oscar then had the pace to hold on to it, but it really tied McLaren's hands a little bit when all of a sudden they didn't have both cars out front.
Yeah. The problem is Oscar's, not to disrespect Lando, but Oscar's got quite a bit of pace compared to Lando. I like Lando. You know I like Lando. But it just seems Oscar's...
Oscar seems to have the edge right now.
Yeah. I mean, to even hold him off throughout the race as well, it kind of proved that Oscar has... They were both running the same spec car before anybody says. They both have the same upgrades, you know, the same spec. And... yeah. It just kind of proved to me that Oscar does seem to have a little bit more pace than Lando.
At the moment.
At this point, yeah. Go on then.
What do you want me to go on to?
Anything. I want you to bring a subject up.
Do you mean the kind of slight disregard for the rules that seem to be a little bit more this race than previous ones? Namely from your boy Danny Rick.
Was that Danny Rick on Hulkenberg? Or
That's Hulkenberg, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it on Yuki?
No,
that'd be teammates, wouldn't it? So no.
Yeah. No, I think it was on one of the Haas drivers. And
then we had K-Mag bouncing off anybody who'd stand still long enough. Well, there's a difference.
He took fucking Yuki out. Basically, Yuki had to retire after. Wow. 7 laps before Yuki retired. Because Danny Rick got a 5-second penalty for driving off the track, but then unfortunately got a further 10-second time penalty because of
pure mechanics.
Because of
muscle memory action.
Yeah.
I do kind of feel bad for it. I'm sure that guy got a good kicking afterwards, but it was just such a muscle memory thing.
Yeah.
But we should mention, as a result of this, K-Mag now has been in a position I don't think we've had a driver in for years. He will have to miss the Baku Grand Prix.
He will, because he had an incident with Gasly.
I think he had 2 that race. I think it was the commission both gave him.
But Hulkenberg also, I'm sure Hulkenberg had also got a penalty. Hulkenberg got a 5 for something. I can't remember exactly what. But Hulkenberg got a 5-second penalty, and then Magnussen got 10 seconds for causing a collision.
Ricciardo got 5 seconds for forcing out the track for the 10 seconds finish correctly. No, just says Magnussen received a 10-second penalty for causing a collision.
But Nico did get a 5-second.
No, it will be written at the bottom here if he did. It will be written at the bottom of race results, so no, he didn't. It was just.
But Gasly has also publicly come out and said that that penalty was harsh for K-Mag. Considering it was an incident with him that got him it.
I think part of it was the fact that it was like the second one he'd had that race as well. I think that didn't do him any favours.
Well, he got a penalty for bitching Yuki. That was his first investigation, and then he had the one with Gasly, and then it fell as shit. And unfortunately, K-Mag's got enough points on his license that he's now has to miss out a race ban, and I'm reckoning Behrman's going to get a call up.
That's what the conversation is here, that Behrman will probably get that. If nothing else, it's a good chance for Ferrari to give him a bit of seat time.
Yeah.
Okay, not directly in the car he's going to be driving, but at least it's a bit more race.
Yeah.
And you never know, based on his performance when he drove the Ferrari, he might be able to just squeeze a point or something silly.
Well, yeah. And the interesting thing, though, is it was Ocon, Gasly, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Guan Yu Zhou, and Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll finished last.
Sorry, I like surprised.
They all got lapped. What the hell happened to Stroll, though? Did he get caught up in something?
I don't know. I think he pitted early. I don't know whether his car picked up a problem. I seem to remember he ended up out of sync on the pit stops. So I'm pretty sure it didn't help.
And yeah, it just to see the Aston Martin that low down, I thought something must have happened. But the race itself wasn't Monza as we know it. The whole thing about the new cars making racing better and all this, making the racing closer and providing overtakes and stuff. It did, but it didn't. It just seemed to peter out in the middle, did Monza.
I know what you mean.
And then it got exciting towards the end again, which we've seen this over the last couple of races.
Yeah. I say we seem to be in a massively amazing stretch of reliability as well. Once again, I think Yuki was the only DNF.
Well, yeah, because Kevin had fucked his side pod up.
Yeah.
So, that was the only reason why Yuki got DNF'd. I mean, fair play. Fair play for, Carla Pinto. 12th.
Yeah. Well,
that's not to be sniffed at.
Oh, no, of course not.
Obviously, K-Mag, with his penalty, was clear enough of Alonso. I think it was it was 0.1 or something like that clear, but it was enough.
Yeah.
To give him a point. which unfortunately is now kind of screwed because I watched his after pen, the after pen reaction,
Hmm.
but he was a bit pissed at the stewards, frankly. Which I get it. I get it.
To me, though, it's when because he's been at the max number of points for a while, so it was always kind of coming.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. It's the case of they, sometime they'll penalise for certain things, and then
A
some
lack of consistency, which I know is a favourite topic of yours.
Yeah, I mean, because even in practice they were fucking naughting all the impeding and all this bollocks.
Well, we had that debate last time. Your my opinion on the impeding. Now, we should probably mention during qualifying, was it Piastri's release on
Max?
Verstappen?
Oof.
I said release on him, pretty much got released on his front wing.
Yeah. Fucking hell. But it's just, you know what I mean? It's that the team would have been done for that.
Yeah, it was a team fine, not a driver fine, so at least.
Yeah. And it was like all the impeding stuff, but it was all like practice and everything. And then, I mean, to obviously, yes, this is an F1 podcast, but F2 or F3. It was either the F3 or the F2. Qualifying, F3 was fucking balmy. You know the whole traffic situation?
Well, like we had a good few years ago.
Yeah. We'll put it this way. They got to one of the corners. I think it was just before the dip. Or the bridge bit. The old banking, sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was that straight. And basically, there was a crash because of them slowing right down, and nobody wanted to go.
Well, that was what F1 put massive measures into trying to avoid, wasn't it, a few years ago?
And this is why it needs to go down into other disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
But they were still dicking around even in qualifying. Oh, the F1 were. But yeah, no, the race was just bleh. Really,
it was
wasn't.
alright. To me, it was better than the last one.
Yeah.
But a bit more entertainment than we had at playing the last one. But it was Zandvoort, so I should remember that.
Yeah, I mean, Max was getting worried towards the end. Max was getting worried because Russell was fucking gaining him. Perez wasn't. The Red Bull just didn't have it this weekend.
Oh no, let's say we're seeing maybe the brakes are playing an issue. Maybe the brakes are playing part of it, but
well, the car just seemed very, very understeery. Max usually likes understeery, but for Max to turn around and say undrivable yet again. And one thing I noticed, and I will bring this up in a minute.
Go on.
Well, all I'm going to say is fair play to Ferrari and Leclerc.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck me, nobody saw that coming.
We spent so long bitching about Ferrari's strategies. They got one right this time.
Yeah, but not even the fucking Tifosi had twigged what the hell was going on. And it wasn't till the last, so many laps that Tifosi finally twigged what the hell was happening. You should have heard. I guess you will have heard them.
Oh yeah, I heard you. Of course I heard it.
They were going for it. And I mean, yeah, fair play to Sainz as well. Fair play to Hamilton. But did you notice one? I don't know. Do you ever watch the cool down room?
I usually try and watch up to the podium, yeah.
Yeah.
And especially a one like Monza, I was always going to watch up to the podiums because that podium at Monza is an absolute thing of beauty.
Did you notice how Lando was very quiet?
He was not in a good mood, was he?
No. And I'm sorry, but even Oscar seemed quite dejected by it. Because I bet that they were in there thinking in their heads, yeah, we can do a 1-2 out of this.
They both know they threw away a win, and Lando's at a point where I think I said it last time. He could win this championship, but he needs to be maximising every opportunity.
Yeah.
And today's wasn't maximised.
Well, no, it wasn't maximised. But everybody was suffering with pit stop issues, I noticed.
Yeah, I wonder if they figured that he might have played a part in that.
People were suffering with pit stop issues. But no, nobody saw bloody the Ferrari strategy.
Well, nobody thought the one stops could actually get the distance, did they? They all thought the one stop would burn the tyres out.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny, I think I had Joe and Dad before the actual race. And I would have liked to have seen Sainz win it just because it would have been the ultimate sort of farewell to the Ferrari team.
Yeah.
But I must admit, to see Leclerc and a Ferrari driver take Italy is always a good thing.
Yeah, but it was just because I was thinking, oh, fucking, okay, Oscar's going to win it. Orlando's going to win it. And then I was like, well, Leclerc's got to stop. Leclerc's not stopping. Oh, Ferrari, you clever bastards.
Yeah, they managed to play a blinder.
And it was just like, yeah. Go on, Leclerc. Go on, Charles. You've won Monaco. Win Monza.
Well, he said, didn't he, the two he wanted to win most is Monaco and Monza.
Well, he's
done them both this year.
Well, he last won Monza in 2019.
2019, yeah, so he's won it for Ferrari. As I said before, you winning a Ferrari at Monza and you have a god to them.
Yeah, and he's now probably King Charles.
Yeah. Manuel.
I mean, yeah, it was just an absolute. So what, like I said, towards the end it got exciting, but yeah, both Lando and Oscar, I watched their sort of after in the interviews in the pen.
Yeah, they weren't happy.
They were both not happy.
I mean, Lando managed his trick again, and he set the fastest lap on the final lap. So the McLaren still had pace, but it was never going to hunt down the gap that they ended up with. Obviously, the 20-odd seconds you saved by not pitting.
No, but I think what happened was Oscar was what? Was he 2.66 behind him in the end?
Another couple of laps, he'd probably been right on top of him.
Yeah, he just seemed to lose the pace. They should have released Oscar to push a bit sooner. I think McLaren left it a bit too late to push. Now, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, Lando is on 241. Max is on 303.
Yeah, so he did close the gap slightly, but not by
much.
Massive amounts. That's the thing, like I say. With the races that are left, Lando can still do it, but it gets harder with every race that he doesn't maximise.
And obviously he didn't by finishing third and Oscar finishing second. Now the constructors, on the other hand, all that is going to take is McLaren to score good in
Baku next.
Baku, and they've got it. If Red Bull, no, but what I mean,
you mean they take the lead?
They take the lead. If Red Bull don't have a good one.
And current form suggests that cleverer money's on McLaren.
Right, let me put this to you though. If you're looking at the constructor standings right in front of you right now.
Can be.
Could Ferrari clinch the constructors.
They are only 30 odd points behind.
What, Red
They're
Bull?
on 407. Yes.
So
407. So they're only 39 points behind.
Yeah. So are we seeing now a Red Bull survival and a fight between Ferrari and McLaren?
Well, at the moment we've got a three-way fight.
For the constructors, we have, yes.
Because Red Bull are still in it.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, the next one after that is Mercedes are like 150 near enough behind, which is still actually climbable, but is a lot more difficult.
But whereas the Drivers' Championship, is Leclerc out of it?
Bear me a second.
Well, Max is 303, Lando is 241. This is obviously for anybody that's listening and people that can't see it.
Yeah.
And Leclerc
Charles
is at 217.
So he's what? He's 90. Call it 100 points because he's not so far. He's 86 points behind.
And what is it?
84, sorry.
And per race, it is
8 races. There's potentially 200 points on the table. So mathematically, it's possible.
So, do we possibly have a freeway fight for the driver's standings?
For Leclerc to do it, you'd have to anticipate that Max wouldn't score any more points. Or would have a few really, really low, and Leclerc would go on to win now. Well, mathematically it's possible. I honestly don't think it's
doable.
Likely.
It's basically going to be a Max survival, Lando.
Yeah. I think Lando catching him, he could still, if he has a few more 6th, 7th place finishes well down there and Lando can win them, that's what Lando missed the opportunity. If he'd have won it, he'd have brought the gap down a chunk more.
Oh yeah, it would have done. It would, no doubt about that, it would have done. I mean, can we see Lando win his first World Championship this season? Can we see McLaren take the constructors away from Red Bull?
It's a serious... I honestly, mathematically possible, I honestly kind of doubt it.
Really?
And no offense to... I don't see Lando... The constructors for McLaren is probably the most likely. I think as long as Max can keep pulling in those 4th, 5th, that will give him enough to keep the title.
But the problem is, then will Lando... I'm going to do it, I'm putting it out there, sorry guys. But will Lando then get pissed at Oscar for the fact that Lando lost at least 10 points at Hungary?
Which I just well, yeah.
That's what I mean. Hungary. Will it go back to Hungary?
Which I'd say 7 he lost technically there, wasn't it? The difference
Well,
between...
yeah, I was just saying 10 for argument's sake.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to comprehend because you're not sure which way. And you can play the if buts and maybe game for ages.
I mean, if we're... Yeah, but
the
problem is, it's going to be funny because if we're sat here, come Abu Dhabi, and Lando's won the drivers, and McLaren have won the constructors, you're going to eat your words. I can guarantee it.
Possibly. I mean, I'm ready to prove wrong. It's just, even you've got to admit, for him to pull that gap back is difficult.
Oh, yeah. It is.
Because, like I say, it's going to take... Yeah, basically, you'd have to sit there and think that Max wouldn't score another point for the rest of the season.
That's...
unlikely.
Looking at some of the tracks, Azerbaijan, I'd probably say Perez is probably... I don't want to curse Perez, but I'm probably going to say Perez is going to be doing a little bit better than Max.
I don't know the way Perez's form has been right now.
Yeah, but it's Azerbaijan. It's a street circuit. You know what Perez is like with street circuits at times.
Yeah,
Singapore, the Red Bull is going to be awful. I mean...
Yeah, well, Singapore's the one last year they didn't win.
Exactly. And if this is what, if I'm I probably will eat my words because this is where Red Bull will just come and show me up at Singapore. But
We'll just do a 1-2 there, just to totally blindside us all.
yeah, and then obviously quarter. I could probably.
At the moment, the pace is definitely with the McLaren.
Yeah.
However, like I said, the idea that Max doesn't score good points for the rest of the season, I find very hard to believe. He's going to get seconds or thirds, even if he's not winning.
Or if he can get low, if he gets lower than that, though.
And Lando doesn't manage to win. Which Lando's got a major problem in that other car that looks remarkably like his when it comes to that.
You mean
because obviously, because Red Bull have yet to pull the team orders card.
McLaren have only ever pulled it at Hungary.
Yeah,
and that
was against Lando.
Yeah, and I think that's what. To be honest, I think that's what hurt them in Italy. Apart from Ferrari pulling that blinder, and Oscar doing what he did towards the start, I think that knocked Lando. I think it shook him. Because, he was, Lando was playing down, did it surprise you that Oscar had just couldn't, suddenly appeared? And he was like, no. You know what I mean? And then Leclerc got past, and I'm thinking, did it knock him a bit? Lando, yet again, not going to want to cause offence, but it's probably people are going to be like, were you shitting on him? No, I'm not, because I'm a McLaren fan. Lando doesn't do well under pressure.
He does seem to have this. Maybe it's a little bit just. Let's not forget, this is the first time the car's been up this way. Apart from that one rogue win they got at Monza, was it 3 or 4 years ago?
The one with Danny Ricciardo.
Yeah.
Where Danny won it, and basically Lando nearly won it, but their team orders went against Lando.
So, McLaren, he's not used to being up the front end fighting like this. I think he's taking a little bit of adjustment for him.
Yeah. And I think, like I say, I just can't believe how dejected they seemed for the fact that they got a 2 and a 3. The gap's coming down on Red Bull. Yeah. Yes, they didn't win the race like they probably both wanted. But I mean, fuck me. A second and a third in a race like that, I'd be fucking happy.
Oh, yeah, any other team would have taken that as a... Even Red Bull would probably have taken a second and third and been like, yep, superb.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Yeah. But I didn't understand the whole, both of them being quite just dejected over it.
I think they both know they both sort of...
They both can win, and they're both hungry for it. This is what I'm thinking.
I think they both know they both got robbed of that win today.
Yesterday.
Well, today when we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. But at the end of the day, McLaren weren't to know what Ferrari were going to pull off.
No. Oh, no, agreed. Like I say, we spend a lot of time shitting on Ferrari strategies. For once, we can actually give them a bit of praise.
It was a fucking blinder.
Yeah.
It was a very, very bold Ferrari strategy.
Oh, yeah.
It was. And, yeah, fair play to them. I mean, is there anything else you want to add before we move on to the fantasy side of things?
Leclerc got driver of the day. Like I say, to see a Ferrari... I mean, we didn't get this... Once again, Ferrari teased this idea of, there's going to be, black livery and stuff.
Yeah.
They basically meant black overalls.
There was a little bit more of extra black on the car, though.
But it's like when we promised that blue Ferrari earlier in the season and it wasn't.
But, yeah.
Once again, it's winner. As I say, we're in a very interesting place right now, and roll on Baku and see what the next twist takes us.
Yeah, see how many of them put it in a wall. That's my interest in Baku. Is just I'm gonna try and get to watch the practice sessions because I want to see.
Through work, I have
Yeah, I know, but I want to see just to see see if any. Well, I can catch up with it. If I miss it, I'll catch up with it. Because it's a weird time in his Baku again.
Yeah.
Because practice 1 and 2 is like 10:30 in the morning. So I'll catch up with that. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll catch up. 9:30. 1 o'clock qualifying, though, on the Saturday.
I should hopefully be able. If once again, it might be a catch up for me because it's like I say, it depends where I am.
Yeah, I might catch up with it or I might catch it live. And then the race is midday. That is our time, not track time.
Yeah.
Because they are 2 ahead?
One of
Yeah.
the ones that they
No,
run to
3
near
ahead.
our time.
Well, basically, our time qualifying is 1 o'clock. Their time is 4 o'clock. So, if our race time is midday, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon out there.
Yeah.
So it's 2 or 3 hours ahead, something like that. We're behind 2 or 3, whatever. You know what I mean?
I think so. I don't think you do, but I think I do.
don't, but. Oh. Okay.
No, right now.
So.
Guess you just looked at the fantasy results.
I've just had a quick look. I had a fucking bad one.
You certainly did, mate.
I did. And who screwed me the most? I didn't get any negatives.
You did, you got 1.
Oh, yeah, I did. Shit. Bollocks. It was Yuki. The retirement from Yuki. Fuck.
Hang on, Neil,
I'm looking at mine.
You don't have Yuki on your team according to my screen.
No, but it was Yuki's retirement because of the RB. I've got RB on my constructors.
Yeah. I was going to say, that makes more sense. You were there saying, you go like, well, I'm looking at yours and you don't have Yuki on yours.
No, but it was Yuki, yeah. Because they lost a position, but because of a race not classified, I lost 20 on that. Gained 1 point for the driver through Q2. Race positions lost -1. And then I got 5 points extra for overtakes because of Ricardo and Yuki at that point. But yeah, no, because of Yuki being out,
yeah,
that did my damage. Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is, I actually had Yuki as one of my drivers, so of course I lost his points, but
Alan lost 17 because of Yuki.
So did I.
You lost 17 because of Yuki. Yeah, Lando didn't do Alan any favours. Max really didn't do us any favours either.
I need to start thinking about maybe moving my 2 times around a little bit. When I do the second I do that, Max will start winning again.
I know.
Watch.
And then obviously,
it's like when we did it at the start of the season, it was such a safe bet.
Yeah, and it's not now. And then obviously, yeah. So basically, what hurt Ryan was RB, but Norris and that did him a favour. Now, if we look at all races, Alan, I need to fucking start scoring because Alan is only 40 points behind me at this point.
Yeah, and I'm only just over 100 ahead of Ryan.
Yeah, he's coming for you.
You keep saying that, there's time yet.
Oh yeah, we know that. But, yeah, no. Funny, Alan's on a year. Well, I'm on a year as well.
Well, technically we're all on years, it's just ours are long, mine and Ryan's are further away.
Yeah, but Alan's is 2009 and mine's 2049. It's just like... Yeah, I can probably see me ending up last if...
I'd say we do this again next year, there should be a forfeit for coming last.
That's next year, not this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw it in this year
No.
now, even though I'm in a lovely position where it's unlikely to be me. I'm not that cool. I say for next year, we have some. I don't know what, we'd have to think about it.
And it can't
but
be. Can't be anything too. It can't be so much stupid. For example, you've got to go out, find a ghost chili, and eat it. No, I won't do something like that because.
No. And by the way, anybody listening, if you've got an idea,
yeah,
hit us up. Let us know, like. But I just think there needs to be something.
It has to be reasonable.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you there.
It's not gonna.
It's something to think of.
And it can't be something that's gonna put any of us or our healths at risk.
Oh no, I was thinking more like has to donate something to a charity or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
you could do something like that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm meaning nothing stupid, dangerous, or
yeah. Oh yeah, agreed.
Is out of the question.
Oh no, I agree with you there. Go on, you know me, I'm not quite that stupid.
Yeah, well, I know people that do food challenges where the fact that there's these fucking super hot chilies and all that crap, and it's just like
you don't fancy that, eh?
I'd probably be able to do something like that, but then my body probably wouldn't thank me the next day. It's like you and our discussion on the whole Thursday topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you got any more final thoughts before we?
Not really. No, like
no. Go on.
Just to clarify, we're going into a very interesting end of season right now.
Oh, we are.
I really don't want to try and predict this one because it's getting. I think it's Max's to lose. I guess is the way I'm going to put it.
It
is. But we've got 8 more of these podcasts to do between now and any kind of absolute closure. So we'll have to see what appears. It's going very quiet.
No, it's gonna be an.
You generally had me worried there that something had gone wrong because you went quiet for friggin' ages.
It's gonna be. I was just thinking what the hell I was gonna say. But no, it's generally gonna be an interesting end to this season. It really is. I'm looking forward to seeing what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
And seeing where we go.
And tune in back here in a fortnight for the next one to find out where it went.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, we're gonna end this one here. So obviously, thank you to everybody for joining us, listening in, YouTube, wherever you are. And obviously, thank you to David for joining me.
Pleasure as always. Thank you for having me.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and also the Twitch. Links are in the description, and we shall see you for the next one. So until then.
Later, folks.
Goodbye for now.